In the Doghouse with referee T-BONE. Tonight's very special guest, Justin Kace. Hello everyone, welcome to In the Doghouse with referee T-Bone Jones. And I'm here today with my very special guest, the legend in the indie wrestling world, Justin Kace.
Hey, you're just telling the truth. So you're fine with that. Keep it going.
All
Hey,
right.
if you don't like it, I don't care. Because here's the deal lately. I'm going to let you know one thing. With my health problems and all, I went knocking on heaven's door, brother. They slammed it in on me. And hell done thrown me out. So you people are stuck with me. I'm not going anywhere.
Kace's gonna live for another 100 years.
I'm serving life without the possibility of parole, brother. And enjoying every minute of it.
I love it. I
People
love
that
it.
wrong me, it's time
Time to pay the
this
piper.
old dog is dead. He's gonna come out that porch. You know that.
Amen.
Brother.
Amen.
I wouldn't be around this long. Brother.
All right. Well, let's start with our first question. Our very first question. How did you get involved in pro wrestling? What made you get in this business?
Oh, as a kid, when I was little, best I can recollect, my head's pretty bad now, concussion-wise, 12 of them. And I remember from 1965, 66 as being a 5 or 6 year old kid at the time, and we would all gather around the TV because at that time we'd just gotten cable in the area, and we got big 7 channels. 3 out of Pittsburgh, which one was channel WIC channel 11, which is, I believe is PXI now. And they had the local shows. Bruno Sammartino ran the area with Ace Freeman.
Yeah.
It was called Super Pro Wrestling and things. And that had Dominic DeNucci, Joe LeDuc. Most people don't know Ivan Koloff worked as Red McNulty, a red-headed man, Canadian, before he had his German or his Russian gimmick.
Wow.
He made his deal in Pittsburgh. J.J. Dillon started in Pittsburgh. You'll see a lot of early J.J. up in there if you read the results on those areas. And I got to watching that and all the family on Saturday night. My dad worked hard 12 hours a day, 6, 7 days a week to support a family of 9 of us. Plus my mom and his grandma, who he took care of till she passed at 107. Okay, we would all gather around the TV to watch that wrestling. And you may think it's funny, but we had a 6-inch round picture tube. Okay, they came out in the ads at the old J.C. Penney's. Most people don't know who it is. It was a catalog store. You didn't have Sears and Walmarts at that time. You had to order from a catalog to have it shipped to you. Or an S&H green stamp store, where every time you went and bought groceries, you got green stamps, filled up a book, and you traded them in for things. Okay, we went and found a 10-inch round magnifying glass to put in front of that 6-inch screen. We thought we were in Tyler Cotton, brother. We thought, my God, we moved up in there, and this is black and white.
Wow.
But I remember it, so I still hold that tradition today. Even though it's just me and my brother, a lot of times, and my twin brother and my other brother, we were there, and we still do that same tradition. Because that was family. That was the only night I got to actually be with my dad, sit there, watch wrestling. He thought it was all pounds, but my grandma loved it. My Aunt Grace would beat on the TV when the heels would get on the eyes. And that kept to me. So she would take me to the Carmichael Auditorium as a kid and watch that. And they had Ringside Rosie in Pittsburgh. She would take her umbrella and beat them and poke them with it. Oh, we had our locals down here. My grandma was one of them. Where she would take that umbrella and beat them and stab them with it. They would sharp up the points and stab you in the butt with it.
That is awesome, man.
You know?
That is awesome.
It didn't take a lot to get them worked up. And I started looking at how the crowd responded. And I thought, as a kid, I liked this. And then Bruno was my hero then. And later on, I get into the story of how I actually got to meet him and why he became my favorite. And if you want a man's man,
that was my next.
That's the man's man.
That was my next question.
He is a man's man. I'll say that about anybody. People think I don't like different people or different nationalities. I judge you on the way you are as a person, how you treat me. If there's everybody in this business that stood up for it and was a man in this business, Bruno Sammartino.
Amen.
And I dare anybody to say that. Triple H figured it out.
I'm a fan.
In the Hall of Fame, brother.
I'm a very big fan.
Without him, nobody would be here today.
Absolutely.
These young kids need to think about that. Before them, there were others. You need to respect people that are the older people. People think I talk BS, but ask some of the old pros. Why do you think I got to work with all those guys? You know why? Because they trusted me. They knew I knew what I was doing. I respected them. Because here's the deal. When you're going up that ladder, don't make fun of the people that you used on the way up. Because you're going to meet them on the way down.
Amen. Amen.
And how you going to be treated. That's right.
But that was my next question. Who was your biggest inspiration?
Bruno Sammartino.
Yeah. That you already answered it. I was going for it, and you already answered it.
When he walked out, you didn't need entrance music. And I was at the Pittsburgh Civic Arena, I'd say, right after my heart surgery in 71, I'd say 73. And there was probably 10, 12,000 people in that 16,000 seat. They called it the igloo, the old Civic Arena.
Yeah.
The roof would separate on it in the summertime. They'd open it up so it'd cool down for air conditioning. And you could tell who was coming out by the boos. If the heel came out, you start hearing a boo, and it'd get louder, louder, louder. Bruno would just step out through there, and that place would go nuts. 22,000, 25,000 people in Madison Square Garden, another 5,000 in the Roosevelt Forum next door on pay-per-view. 27,000 people every month. 8 years. Tell me how many people sold out Madison Square Garden or headlined it 212 times.
Not very many.
Elvis Presley?
That's none of them. None of them can touch what Bruno did in the business.
I wouldn't even say half the pro team had. Or have a winning record, especially in New York.
Now, my next question for you is, what do you want to be remembered for in the wrestling business? What do you want to leave as a legacy?
Maybe somebody out of something I said, whether they believe it or not, or they think it's crazy, learn from it. Because I'm just passing on what was told to me and what I see. Because here's the 3 L's you got to learn in this business. Look, listen, and learn. If you're just starting in this business or got less than 5 years or so, unless you're somebody who can make a name quickly, go in there, sit down, show respect, meet the guy, shake their hand, introduce yourself. Because the last thing I hate is people think they're somebody and when they introduce themselves, tell me, introduce me in their shoot name. Or their ring name, not their shoot name.
Yeah.
That's disrespectful, brother. And I can go get into the people that did this to me, and I gave just in case right back. Because the biggest deal is I would say 80% of the people in this business don't know my real name. You know what? They don't need to know it.
No.
My name is Kace, and I go do my job. That's it. And just in case is a character that I created. And it came from a phrase. The Sheik used to tell me, and the other guys, hey, bring this with you. Well, I'd say, what do we need to go out to the ring with? What gimmicks what we need here? Well, bring this just in case. And there was Linda Ronstadt, an old singer, and she had the just in case band. And then I was sitting there thinking, I knew this team, Frank Parker and Roger Anderson, called Death and Destruction. Why not Death and Destruction with just in case? How about this is when Punchy McGee and Sir Frederick Team Gay with just in case.
Ah, I love it.
It fit in with everybody's name.
I love it.
And when people heard it, like Chris Jericho, when Luke Gallows talked about me on his show, he still remembered me in Charleston when he did a tag team AEW tournaments. We'll get into that story about the AEW belt. I wasn't supposed to bring it to get signed by the guys because there was only one that was supposed to be out of the world. And I ended up bringing one with me. Covered up. But, you know, that's just some of the stories. Stone Cold Steve Austin. He helped me with Luke on his show. He puts me up in the WWE bios. He said, training by Justin Case, Lance Malinowski, and Jim Hawkins. I didn't ask him to put that in there. The only thing I gave that man, I couldn't even tell him how to work out the body. When I first saw him, he was huge. He was over 300 pounds. From what I understand, he was living in Cumberland, raised up there, and he was a body weightlifter.
Wow.
I mean, huge. I actually wanted to make him a Rooster Birdie gimmick after Birdie was killed. And he ended up taking the name Nordic Warrior for a while. When I got with him, he wanted to be Dorian DeVille. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, okay, I got this guy Dorian DeVille. Well, how can I put this over and talk about him? Well, years before that, there was a guy named Sputnik Monroe, the Diamond Ring Cadillac Man. So Dorian DeVille, if you remember the Cadillac DeVille.
Okay.
And it went around. And he kind of sat down to an area where I knew they could take care of him. They got him in Georgia. They and Dirty Hamilton, a few guys there that trained him. The Festus gimmick, he still plays hockey.
That's crazy.
And that's an old gimmick in the cartoons where they had the chicken out there boxing.
Yeah,
And he was quiet until the bell bang, then he started beating the guy up until bang, then he stopped.
The same thing with the Three Stooges.
Same gimmick.
They did the same thing on Three Stooges.
Did you know there was an Undertaker's tag team before the Undertaker? And Vince bought their registered name?
No, I did
That
not
was in the
know that.
Savaldi's, WCCW, working New Jersey in the upper area. You can still see it on YouTube today. But there was a tag team, big heavy set of guys that were called the Undertaker before the Undertaker.
I did not know that. See, you're getting wrestling history here, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, it's all been done.
Well,
Ain't
everything's
nothing in this business has been
recycled.
done.
Everything's recycled.
It's just like a movie. It's like a play. You can. Here's what's making me mad, and this is a life thing with Oprah Winfrey and all these people. The movie Color Purple was stolen from a book written by Ellen May Clampitt.
Yeah.
Donna Douglas.
Okay.
And they rewrote Snow White. If you can't come up doing stuff, don't start complaining about different stuff.
Yeah,
Because that was in a different era.
absolutely. A different time frame.
It's the same as what sold in Charlotte, Ric Flair, did not sell in New York. I was at the Providence Civic Center with a buddy of mine, 1,700 people there. This was during the baseball strike. We were young. Bring on the scrubs. Him and Bret Hart, man, less than 1,700 people. That's why they moved to the music hall down the road. Boston Gardens the next night. That proved the same theory I've always said. What sells in Charlotte, which
Ain't
is Ric
gonna
Flair,
sell
ain't gonna sell in New
everywhere.
York.
Yeah, it ain't
Hogan
gonna
did not
out
sell
there.
in the South because that's the whole idea with the Black Sunday. When Vince brought his Kace down there from, not Kace, but his entertainment from New York,
Yeah.
who was used to rough, tough wrestling storylines. Here's the deal. If you want to have a competition, they're trying to bring it back now with the win-loss record.
Yeah.
Because I see the Miz now losing I started watching about 25 matches in a row. Here,
Yeah.
Just, I don't catch it all, but I sit and watch. And it irritates me. Who do you make mad? Because
Yeah,
that's all you
to
gotta do is
make
make
somebody
somebody
mad.
mad in there.
Yeah. Because he's a hell of a worker.
You know, and then when Shane left, that's something about. Because the deal was, and this is all, everybody always knew it, that the kids were going to get the business and Shane would replace Vince. Well, I still don't say one person. It's still right now. They want to wipe out all Vince's and WWE remnants.
I wonder if they're going to change the name. That's another thing, too.
Probably could. Because
Vince.
what I've heard, and this is from people that are reputable and things, plus online, you can believe half what you see on Facebook and online.
Yeah,
These
yeah.
are from people that I keep in touch with, are pretty good friends that have been in the business, been somewhere, and they told me this is going to blow up. And they want to erase any vestige. Okay, if you were in the same thing, and I did it,
Yeah.
when you want to distance yourself from this guy here, not to be, because you're going to be, if the old saying was, my mom used to tell me, if you're with T-Bone here and he goes out and robs a bank, you're going along with him.
Yep.
Because you're there with him. Yep. So watch what you do, watch who you run with. So in the business, I didn't keep many so-called friends around because you don't know who you can trust. And it comes down to who's got my back. I've been in too many fights in the business. We'll go through one in Fairmont with Ox and people and TJ and a bunch of the guys still there in the wall. Well, a 45-year-old man out there and fought a 22-year-old running back from Fairmont State.
Wow.
I held my ground with him, brother.
That's messed
I couldn't
up.
believe you went out there to chew him on Ox. You think I was going to sit there and watch you? I was eating my spaghetti. I'll tell you about 3 times I was trying to eat my food and got called out to break up a fight.
That's
That I
ridiculous.
had nothing to do with. But I did. Because 2 people
This
went out
wrestling
one-on-one,
world's crazy.
one-on-one, Ox handled that boy. When that boy, and it was drunk, and that boy, he kept pouring Ox's beer, because we used to go down to Fairmont, that Chinese place down there at the mall.
Yeah. All-Star Sports Garden.
Okay, sports card. Well, you'll see. I don't know if they took it down, but the Iron Sheik, my name's up there. All the wrestlers we took in there. But it used to be on pay-per-view Sundays. We would go in and put a show on the afternoon, and then one in the evening just before the pay-per-view.
I've actually been to 2 or
Okay.
3 of those shows.
Well, this clown decided to jump off the balcony into the ring while match was going on. So we get him out and settle that down. But then after we're all sitting there eating, and I said, I drink him a toad. He's a nice guy, but liquid courage goes a long way. So I stay away from this.
I was there when the guy jumped in the ring.
That's the night the fight started out in the parking lot.
I didn't see the fight in the parking lot, but I saw the jump.
I got hurt the worst by Ox, of all people. Because I go in there, and this was on Earth. As I go in there and I see the other guy jumping him, there was a guy maybe about my size and stuff, and Ox told him, just back off, I don't want nothing to do with it. The guys get right in front of it. Ox just open hand slapped this guy. He went like a noodle. As he was coming back up, his football buddy, 240, 250, come flying out there and tackled Ox in the back. I said, listen. So I jumped in. Well, just as Ox was getting him down, he thought somebody else was coming from behind, and it was me. And went like that. When he did, he caught me right there, man.
Oh,
split my eye open. Didn't stop. I didn't even notice it. But Jim Hawkins said, Kace, you didn't know you're bleeding? No, I didn't notice it. I said, that adrenaline kicked in. It was, keep going until I'm down.
Amen.
Because I ain't going to stop till I'm down. I might win, lose, or draw. You're going to pop some marks on me. That's why I've never had a lot of problems. I'm not a tough guy. But I never had a lot of problems because I ain't going to play games with you. Whether it's T.J. Phillips, anybody else in the business. You saw when the crap came down, who was out there?
You.
Who had to break kayfabe and go out there and stop it?
You had to. Several times that I could remember.
And if anybody had a problem or thought they could do something, let me jump. Because here's the deal. You better kill me. But if not, vehicle homicide's only 1 to 5. I'll be at me.
No, there wasn't nobody going to mess with
No, I knew
Kace.
that. That's the whole idea.
They were a lot of talk. Like TJ, in my opinion, and I'll say this, and I don't have
I'll tell you straight to his face.
he's talk.
A lot of talk.
A lot of talk.
A lot of talk. Because I'll tell you what, when you don't want to go face a 56-year-old man, you call and you're going to tell me you're going to whoop your butt and call me and tell me he knows where I live. 30 minutes later, I call him up and say, hey, TJ, if you ain't come by, I'm coming there. That's how he had Ox was with him. I didn't know that. Hey, they're friends. That's cool. Me and Ox already had that talk.
Yeah.
I can't tell you who you can be your friends with. And I'm not going to be mad at you because if you don't like her, or I don't like her, but you do, hey, that's got nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Each their own until somebody does something to me. And I've let TJ over the years. It's not 1 or 2 or 3 times with this crap. This is going on since he got in the business. He's another one in this business who never been like that. I told Jim Hawkins that. And all promotions are like that. They let people in this business. One day we'll talk about the
Okay.
and how he killed his girl.
Now I know you've been having some health issues, and I was wondering if you wanted to let people get an update on you and how you're doing right now.
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Most of the time, age catches up with you. But yeah, I had to have a heart valve replaced, and due to some complications there with the hospital and all, they ended up putting 3 plastic valves in my chest. I have 3 St. Jude's plastic valves. I carry a card on me. The deal is with the heart valves, you can use, let's put it straight. You can use a pig or a cow. But they need to replace them every 5 to 7 years. The valve I opted for was a new deal. It's only been used for about 10 years. I'm one of the oldest people that haven't put it. And the expectancy was 3 to 5. Well, I'm 4.5 years into it. And I ain't going nowhere. I take care of myself. Yeah, it knocked me down. It knocked me down because believe me, you saw the scars where they sawed me up from here to here.
Oh my God!
And then had to open that mesh plate up 3 times with the knots on my chest, and that pretty much ended any career I got. I cannot take any chops. I'm supposed to wear a protector all the time. I'm not gonna live like that. It's the same way with the pills they gave me and all the pain pills they gave me. I lived 59 years only taking vitamins and aspirin when I had a problem because I was never a pill person. I mean, I smoke marijuana. I'm an American Indian. That's my heritage.
We all smoke.
Here's the deal. If I didn't, I'd done been locked up. And right now, the way the world is, I think I'd rather be locked up because they can fix my hip, my shoulder, and be healthy. And I have
with the taxpayer money.
3 hots in a cot. You know how many people I'm taking care of? I'd like to have the tax money I paid for the welfare for girls to have kids. And I didn't get no pleasure out of it, but I took care of your kids.
Amen.
What about Kace? Come on, let's tell the truth. What about Kace?
What about Kace, America?
You know, I mean, let's be truthful. Wrestling is no different than that. And the deal is wrestling makes for strange bedfellows. And that goes both ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah, amen.
Because you'll have people partner together just to stab each other in the back.
Absolutely.
And then sit and laugh at you about it. You're real nice here, but then
Yep, you get the knife in the back. Amen. Amen.
With me, you see what you get.
Absolutely.
I'm the same in real life as I am anywhere else. Ask people that know me and been around me.
And I'll state this on video. Kace has always been great to me. Kace has been one of the best people I've ever met in the business. I consider him my wrestling father.
Absolutely. You're my friend. And in this business, like I told Jim Hawkins last week, talking with him, he and I stay close. Ox get close. But out of this business, out of probably no BS 1,000 people I've worked with over the years, I can only count on one hand the people that I would consider my friends that I would trust. That includes some of the guys I work with. The Iron Sheik, yes, my friend. The Barbarian, oh yeah, Barb. Warlord, oh,
Barb was a sweetheart to me.
You know how they, how we all get together. Yeah. Ronnie Killing, our trip. Oh man, I met a lot of great guys. Bruno San Martino, George Steele. They had the problems of being a snitch, and Jay Strongbow. We'll get into all that later. That coward, like Honky Tonk Man said, how many careers has Jay Strongbow run? Because those guys.
I've heard a couple guys ask that question.
And then he got it in. You know that poor little granddaughter of his drowned when he was in
Wow.
Ain't that something?
Yeah. It's messed up, man.
It's like he did go. I'd like to talk him out. He was always that way. I mean, I could tell the story all about that.
Well, here's where we're getting into the good stuff. Because I know this one's going to be one of the ones you've been waiting on. I seen on the comment of the Wrestle-Roni that I did, you said that you had problems with TJ too. Are you willing to elaborate what you've already done?
So well, which one? This goes back. This goes back clear to the early '90s when he was a kid in the audience. Him and Pee Wee.
You hearing that, guys?
You know, and this goes back again. There's again some people that it was hard to get talent back in the mid '90s. Because before 1984, you only had 7 or 8 training centers around the coast.
Yeah.
Luthez was the closest one. Or get Dominic DeNucci in Pittsburgh. And you just had to be somebody. You just didn't walk off the street.
Yeah.
And in the eras between the 50s and the mid 80s, they wanted athletic people. If you notice Vince McMahon Sr., who was his champion?
Absolutely. And he was a wrestler. He came from
you know why? Because
background.
Who's going to shoot on him and take that belt? There was only one person, and it happened to be a transitional deal that they could put in there that could hold back on him. And you know who that was. It's the same one that started holding him.
Yeah. The Iron Sheik.
Same one that Carl Gotch. Same Carl Gotch that wanted Antonio Inoki to shoot on Bruno. That's why Bruno never worked for him. Always worked for Mama.
Oh, okay.
These stories, man, these kids never heard of in the 60s.
See,
he's talking prior to 1985.
He's talking about legendary names that some of you may not even recognize or may not even know that are legends.
And you should know, because the deal is those that don't know history are damned to repeat it. Excuse my language, you're damned to repeat it.
No,
that goes in life or anything else.
Right.
The same way as with war. And there's never everybody going to run one thing. Vince cannot run the whole world in wrestling.
No.
There's not one person can run the whole world. Who are you going to get to trust to run 7 continents and all these people?
You can't. There ain't very many people.
The Romans tried it. And the way I look at it with war, we were fighting before Christ walked this earth. We're still fighting 24 years later.
Yeah.
And there's no money in peace. Winston Churchill. I'm a big believer in history and karma. Listen to Paul Harvey. The devil's, where he, in 1965, explained the pill epidemics in the 80s and 90s. The government don't want it done. People didn't know the difference between sexualities.
Wow. I didn't
he
know
did a thing
that.
on Clarksburg, West Virginia, being a murder capital.
Huh.
Paul Harvey. News and comments. Listen to it.
I'll check that out.
I'm a big Paul Harvey fan. A lot of kids don't know about him, but listen to him. He would tell you in simple terms that you had to figure it out. Just like a prophet, like Nostradamus. He predicted the pills and the doctors and the governments and mail order presidents. It's 1965.
Wow.
So much 60 years, brother.
We're getting a conspiracy theory.
No, I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
No, but you're talking.
You got a piece of paper sitting here. And if you want to evaluate somebody, if you were hiring somebody, you're looking at something you want to do, I do a good column and a bad column.
Yeah.
What weighs out the most is how I go.
Okay.
I research things first and then get them out. Same way with John F. Kennedy.
Okay, yeah.
Conspiracy theory or not,
No.
bottom line, he's dead.
Yeah.
Bottom line, the only two other people that know are dead.
Yeah.
One was shot by another one, the other one took his own life. But
yeah,
you go back and you go back and look at history.
Right.
Just let me tell you this much: Joe Kennedy, the old man of all the Kennedys, was a moonshine runner.
Oh. Well, then that may bring some.
Who was the people trying to take the mob down? Well, you don't know in the Kennedy administration. Who shot Bobby Kennedy? Because they thought they were going to kill Marilyn Monroe with a hot shot. She was killed with a hot shot. Most people don't know what a hot shot is. They hit her in the face with a bunch of good dope.
Oh, wow.
Because she knew too much. And there's powerful people in this country, everywhere. I'm not saying no Illuminati, but there's money. Old money runs this country.
Well, controversy creates chaos, and chaos creates chaos.
When you're looking at Texas and Chicago and Kansas City, the big areas that vote presidency in,
yeah,
who's the best person to get you to swing the vote? They're kind of leaning on you hard. But you won't do this. I'm not accusing anybody now.
Yeah.
But just look at the facts.
It's the truth.
The guy that was accused of killing him, there's no way Lee Harvey Oswald could hit him with a .22 rifle.
Not where
he was.
Yeah.
And not only once did he fire, they're saying there were 3 shots. If you watch that video, because I got it back when it was first done and stopped it on VHS tape in the 70s, when they first come out with the VHS, they were like $1,100.
Yeah.
You could do freeze frame by frame. And you could see when Jackie, his wife, went, his head went forwards, then backwards. Because the shot hit him here, and then it went through him and hit that senator in front of him. That's a known fact. And ended up in the seat. John Conley, I think that was the guy's name. The bullet went through him.
Okay.
But there were 2 other bullets fired. The grassy knoll over here, the bullet trajectory from that. There's no way, almost, I'd say he was on the 6th floor. So that's, every floor is usually 20 feet in the building. So that's 120 feet in the air. It's 1,000-some feet down. Impossible. I shot too many 22s.
There ain't no way.
I can barely hit that doorway over here with 22.
Yeah.
Right? Brand new one.
Yeah.
Because that bullet's not going to have the trajectory. And at that speed, it would have, and he was hitting the head. Either that, it was a lucky shot. Same way with MLK. Why did they move him from the bottom floor to the top floor that day?
So you'd be shot?
Because
there was a balcony.
He was right by the office. The balcony on the floor above him. The car's there. The same guys I told you. I don't want to get on here and say it because it could get me killed.
Yeah.
The same people I told you before that as soon as they hear Tawana Brawley come up, oh my God, and then you got this little fat guy with all spiked up hair running around saying how racist we all are. And the girl was a liar. Accused three college kids, white college kids. Oh, it was all over the news. But when that was all front page of the New York Post, but it's all said and done, you know what it was? Clear in the back, below the help wanted.
That's messed up.
It's never put back in the top.
Yeah. It should have been.
Go ahead,
right.
boss. How do you get sidetracked?
No, you're good. You're good, brother.
This is storylines that you're doing wrestling.
Yeah.
Wrestling is like Dusty Rhodes wrote his some stories.
Yeah.
The Hard Times was a movie dealing with hard times.
Well, yeah.
Because they'd watch that movie and then relive the movie. It's a movie.
You take stuff from real life and entertainment and
mix it together.
Other athletes, and you mix it all together and you make what we love and what we call pro wrestling.
It's entertainment to keep somebody coming back every week.
Absolutely. Without the fans, we
don't
have a show. How do you
think Gunsmoke went for over 20 years? They kept bringing them back every week. Beverly Hillbillies went 9 years. Green Acres now. You know why they were killed? The network thought they were 2 hillbillies.
Oh my God.
That's the God's honest truth. They said that they're 2 hillbillies. Why would you take a show off that's making you money?
It's making you money. Why would you
kill it? Look at Hollywood.
Yeah.
Look at the people that run it.
Next question. What is the worst moment that you've had in the wrestling business, and how did you overcome it?
That happened to me, or just something I saw?
Or anything that you've experienced. Worst moment in wrestling, and how did you overcome it?
It was probably the night I was in South Charleston, West Virginia. And I was the manager, and we were doing a match at Loser Leave Town.
Okay.
And if I lost, I had to leave in the tag match. I believe it was, I've got it on tape, I believe it was Puncher McGee or somebody. Well, there was this chair outside the ring. And I'm not thinking, you know, I'm in there, and the guy comes over, he taps me. I fly off, forgetting the chair's there. Guess what? I landed this side on the chair.
Oh.
Cracked 3 ribs.
Oh, no way.
Just 3 minutes into the match. 17 minutes later, I'm doing a Randy Savage elbow drop from the top rope on him for him to get out of the way of me. To take my Kroger's bag with my suits and all my gear in it and throw me out the door on film. And I was banned from South Charleston and that area after that. I was moving anyway because I had another place to go.
Yeah.
We'd run down there. We started with 15 fans, Jim Hawkins and Mason Dixon. That was when it was Atlantic Coast Wrestling, ACCW, Buddy Rose. Not the original Buddy Rose, the guy that used it out of Parkersburg. He had the ring. And it originally started with Greg Shriver and Jim Hawkins. Well, Jim wanted to do more and, you know, up the show, Greg couldn't afford it. He had the ring, but, you know, he couldn't do it. So Buddy Rose had his ring and brought it over from Parkersburg, and they started ACCW. Well, this is when the internet was first going up, because you kids probably never heard of dial-up.
Yeah, I've heard of dial-up.
Where you had to hear, and it took you 20 minutes to run off a sheet like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of that, in 1977, when we got our first computer at home, it was over $1,000, and I still got it there. It's a Texas Instrument. The hard drive was 16 megahertz hard drive.
Wow.
That's as big as a hard drive was.
Yeah.
And it had a 3.5-inch floppy, which was like this, that you put in
the floppy
to
disk,
record on and record off of, and then the little, the 3.5 was a hard one, and then you had the bigger 5-inch.
Okay.
The black one, and you had to program everything in. The most I remember out of it was it came with the game on that big floppy, Wheel of Fortune. Because that's when I learned back then in '78 that computer's actually stupid. You had to tell what 1 + 1 is back then. This is for Windows.
Yeah.
You had to type everything. And I learned from my brother how to do that. When Windows came in, it opened up a better world for me because I have a problem is I don't like reading the help menus or reading directions. I like just getting in there and doing it. Yeah. After I make a few mistakes and I learn you don't do this.
Yeah, you know.
And I learned by trial and error. I taught myself. But all this is back. I mean, dial-up started in the early 90s.
Yeah.
And
early 90s, yeah.
that was long before video cards. I was one of the first ones in '93 doing videos over in that area for wrestling shows. That's how I got over there. I made money filming shows for guys and cutting them and editing them, taking camera angles out. I've got programs where I can do 8 cameras, and all I have to do is sync them in together, and I can just sit there, watch the show, and tell you what on this end, and I could type in what I wanted. So
that's awesome.
I got the best views. If I didn't, I could stop and redo it. It took time, but you know, it's like Smart Mark. Smart Mark came after I did that. I was working my regular job, and I was making $50,000-$70,000 there a year there, 40 hours a week. I wasn't going nowhere because I learned in the wrestling business when Hogan and them took over in '84 and all that happened, and you had to be a skyscraper and steroided out. Guys, the regular size 6 foot, the guys today, TJ and them, they wouldn't even been carrying the bags to the dressing room.
They wouldn't even been in the conversation.
Maybe wrestling Skylar Low or Little Beaver, one of the midgets. I mean, I'm serious. I was small at 6 foot tall and 200 pounds. I was small compared to some of the giants they had then. And these guys weren't built like they were. I mean, they were big. Bulldog Brower, if you ever knew him, big barrel chested lifter in the gym like Bruno was. That's how wrestlers were built then. Now it's cookie cutter. They all look the same. I can unscrew Lex Luger's head off and put it on Diamond Dallas Page's body. You still got the same wrestler. It's cookie cutter wrestling. There's no individual people in this business anymore. Beastman, maybe. And ask him where he got those gimmicks from. And what's selling? Beastman. I told him, hang in there. Don't get discouraged. Some people want to push it. Most time it took you 8 to 10 years for you even got to be a name in the business. You just didn't walk in and get trained and become a name.
No, you had to earn it.
You had to earn it and pay your dues. You know, I paid my dues many decades ago, but I'm still setting up a ring. I'm selling popcorn. You know, a lot of times at the shows, I bought the $100 bag of popcorn. They sold it, and I got no money out of it. I didn't take any money out
Damn.
because the guys had to be paid. I could have said, hey, heck with you guys, like any of the other boys, but I didn't. And we'll get into the story about me.
And
Let
that's
a couple
why,
other boys get a buy from
and that's why, like, I consider you one of the greatest people.
Well, here's
that
the
I've
deal.
met in
Here's the
wrestling.
deal. Whether it's in life or not, my dad told me that when you die, the only thing you can take with you to your grave is your dignity as a person, and knowing that you was a good person in life, no matter what anybody else said. Because here's the bottom line, folks. If you don't pay my bills, I don't care what you say. Seriously, I don't. I don't. Male or female.
Nothing wrong with that.
I'd like to have a woman right now. If you just want to come over, cook and clean the house, that's it. I'll pay you. I don't need. I've had my share. And I'll get into how women like postage stamps someday. But I got young kids here, baby. I mean, I'm starting on while I'm feeling good because we're having fun. I love talking about the business. I used to love going out and eating after the shows. But one thing you learn is don't eat in the same place where you work. A heel kick couldn't do that. Never. Because I had too many people want to fight me in Kingwood and in other cities. So I always drove away.
Okay.
You never take a dump where you eat.
Absolutely. I've heard that saying before.
Whether it's in life, in relationships, or anywhere else, because I see I want to do is be fighting somebody.
Yeah.
And most of the time they started, I was able in Parkersburg, I had that same problem. Richard Harper always wanted me to eat up that out here restaurant. And of course, you got the same people that follow us from the show want to stop. And like I told them, look, the show's over.
Yeah.
Please leave me alone. I'm trying to enjoy things. If you want something, need something from me, I'll take care of it as soon as we're done. Same way when I was with the Sheik or any of the guys there, I would tell people, look, stop, back up.
Yeah. Because there's a...
Andre the Giant couldn't go out to it. He wanted to go to it.
And that's sad because he was a good man from what I understand.
He couldn't go regular places. While he lived on his farm in North Carolina, it was the same reason Andy Riffle lived in North Carolina on his estate. People left him alone. When he went to town to his little favorite restaurant to drink his coffee and eat in the morning, they treated him like anybody else. He just wanted to be like, he said, I'd trade one day. I heard him tell Gorilla Monsoon in a block. He would trade that any day. Just be a so people need him. Imagine somebody like that.
I couldn't imagine being in his
But
shoes,
if you're a star,
you know what I mean?
and what else was he going to do? How was he going to feed himself?
You gotta eat.
He made money, and God rest him. I just wish it was too late for him with the agglomania he had, like with Paul White. They were able to stop it and some of the other.
Yeah.
You know, it's a common, normal thing. But there was a guy 8'11", Robert Wadlow. I mean, back then they didn't know what agglomania was, and they didn't know how to stop that pituitary gland
Yeah.
from doing that.
They didn't have the training or anything because modern medicine's advanced now.
When they did my first valve in 1971, my heart cut me from here to here. He told me, oh, those far like this. I said, Doc, you're talking out your behind. He said, oh, I've done hundreds of them. I said, Doc, you don't know my body. Look at me. Look, you don't know what I've been through.
Well, yeah.
I said, nothing's ever simple just in case. That's one thing you'll find out. Nothing is ever simple with me.
Absolutely.
I try to live a simple life, but it seems like I wake up and this is like, my theory in life is plan for the worst, hope for the best. That's all I can do. Until you walk in my shoes, or if somebody's walked in your shoes, what you've been through that life and stuff.
I've been
But
through
we're
a
still
lot.
here kicking, ain't we?
Yes.
How do you ever think, when you heard I had heart surgery and was down in 2020, you ever think I'd be sitting back here again?
No, I never
It's taken
thought.
me some time, and I've taken it slowly.
And
I've enjoyed the time away. I miss wrestling. I miss it. I really do.
and I didn't know about the heart surgery. I would have reached
Well, I
out
try
to
to keep
you. And
I try to keep things private. And if you've seen it on my Facebook, I only posted one time or one or two times. That was when it happened and what happened when people couldn't get a hold of it. Because we were still doing wrestling business. Did when COVID hit me, I was in the hospital. May 17th, 2020, that's when I had my heart surgery done.
Wow.
I woke up 24 days later out of a coma. They told me I was clinically dead 18 minutes. That's why I have a little problem sometimes keeping my thoughts together. And it just happens that with 12 concussions, what do you expect out?
That's exactly right.
But the bottom line is I'm still here.
And that's the most important thing. We're still
I wonder
here.
why I'm still here. You know, I sit and think about it. And
The
look at
wrestling
the way
world
life
needs
is
you.
and the way people are and always want to bring you down. We all, in the wrestling business, everybody should be bringing everybody up.
Amen.
Because you're all a company. If you don't work together,
Nobody's gonna make no money.
as Spanish would say, and the guy I took care of there, Bobby Davis, this means his sign language come together. I taught him unite, join, come together. Don't tear us apart. Don't let somebody else's mouth tell you something that ain't right and tear us apart. Unite, brother. I taught him 10 words in Spanish. in sign language. He taught me sign language. So you can learn from anybody.
Okay.
This is a guy that was nonverbal, and after 4 months of me being with him, I can understand every bit of his sign. You know why? Because I took the time. I was with him 8 to 10 hours a day. What am I going to do? Sit him in the corner like everybody else would? No, I sat there and thought about this. I've seen every type of human being in my life. Good people and the waste of society and wrestling business. I don't know. Everybody is, but 95% are. 95% are. I hate to say it, it is. It's that way. And then I started looking at people and how other people act, and I look at these guys who they claim don't have it up here because their mental IQs are below 7 or below it. This man, I can't say straight. I'm not talking about his health, but his IQ. But he was more genuine and hard. They're more genuine.
Yeah.
I'd rather deal with them genuine.
They're honest too.
And honest.
Yeah.
After what I dealt with, like I told him, being a boss at some of these companies around here, you don't want to know what I deal with in the dressing room. You think you deal with stuff? Deal with steroid out guys. Deal with guys with ego problems. They don't want to work with each other. I deal with 30 and 40-year-old, 12-year-old babies. And a lot of times you got to bite your tongue and deal with it.
And I've been on cards with you where you bit your tongue and deal with it. I've been on cards where you've had to fight.
And I've had to get out and work in the ring, too.
Yeah, and go back and work in the ring afterwards.
And I didn't care.
Yeah.
The show had to get done.
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the night, my theory was Jim Hawkins loved it. Show's over. Nobody got hurt. The crowd went home happy. It's a success. Well, it was 15 or 1,500. And we had some good crowds. We were drawing Kingwood 300 people every 3 weeks.
Wow.
Well, they took it out now. I can't remember the name. Ted Dawson. This was on 12 shows a month. We were running up here in Mason. We went up into Uniontown. We're running it every other month. You know, the problem of it is people want to run these areas every week or every 2 weeks. You can't do that.
You're killing off the business.
It's New York. Vince McMahon's tried to run New York every 2 weeks, even with 8 million people. They were good to draw 16 and 20,000 once a month. Vince McMahon Sr. telling Ellie Anderson, hey, yeah, we just sold out Madison Square Garden. Well, okay, when are you going back, Vince? Oh, probably about 3, 4 weeks. We sell out there on Monday night, 16,000 fans. We go 50 miles down the road to Columbus, Georgia. We sell out every Tuesday night there, 10,000 fans.
Wow.
Because those guys were talking. That Ollie Anderson was making $250,000 a year as a booker for Georgia.
That's unheard of back in the day.
He got money because as a booker back then, the promoters would give you a little percentage. If you made money, you took that from a $10,000 house to a $20,000 house. Well, think what 10% of that is. 10% of $20,000 is $2,000. Would you like to make an extra grand just because you took over the book and you put this?
Well,
yeah, most people don't even know what a booker is.
No, a lot of people don't.
They don't have the idea of a booker. We'll get into that later. I don't give them.
Okay.
Don't give everything away on the first day.
All right, yeah.
I don't put out on the first day either.
Amen, because I'm not asking.
I just let you know. I let the women know that. I don't put out on the first day.
All right. What was your
second date though? Yeah, buddy.
We're having fun now.
You think Kace is going to die on?
No. Kace is going to be around a while. All right. One thing before we go into the next question.
You got it.
Tell about these beautiful belts right here. These 2 main ones right here. Let's get into that.
I wish I had the other tag belt. It's being reconditioned. These are the original Mason-Dixon tag belts. We had strived from 95 to about 97, 98 to have us listed in Pro Wrestling Illustrated, which was top magazine at the time, just for all the internet junkies and sheet writers.
Yeah.
They used to bring the sheets down to Gimmick, but it was called. That's where the guy that run VOW.
Okay.
Nino. That's where he came from. He used to come down and write about me. And then they'd be all over. That's how they knew who Justin Kace was. At one time, for 3 straight years, I was the number 1 or number 2 guy in the Mid-Atlantic in this area as a top man.
My opinion,
I didn't vote that. I did not vote that.
No.
And the only other reason that Drew Lazare and a few other beat me, because they had other guys in bigger areas that were bringing in bigger names. I did this with local names. We created most of our shit. Brought in a name here and there. But we had started, and the deal was to get in the PWI in the back of that book with the other territories, NWA at the time, WCCW, Texas, Florida, and all them, is to become a territory, we had to run regular shows at least 8 to 12 a month, okay? and we had to have our own belt and be consistent. So I, at home, I hate to say this, but it ain't gonna come back on me. I ended up acquiring the Canadian Heavyweight Championship that was used by the Tunneys, Frank Tunney, and I'm sure you remember Frank Tunney, who was the head guy for WWE in the early days.
Oh yeah,
Jack
Tunney.
It's Jack Tunney's brother. They ran Toronto, Montreal and Toronto in that area.
Okay.
Big money players before WWF. They run their own stuff.
Yeah.
They use NWA, AWA, and WWE on their show. It wasn't hard to see all three champions wrestling on one show in different federations at this time.
That'd be a great
this is before Vince took over all the stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. And I wanted to be a territory here. And After said, no, you can't be. I knew George Napolitano, Bill After, and those guys from New York working up through there with the other guys. And they were watching me over here. And we were able to take these crowds and start drawing with them. We had Stonewood every other Tuesday.
Wow.
With our local town at good ticket prices. We weren't getting rich. A lot of times, I'd say, we looked one time at the shows, and I think out of 240 some shows, a lot of them were fair shows, which you could make money on. But that's only 30 of them. And guess where the rest of the money goes? But some people believe in this business and want to make it go up. Out of that, I got to get through it. I got to get function to get. Of course, some of the other weights came along too. The rest of them, I got to create characters.
Yeah.
That are still around and people know. So if I don't know what I'm doing, how can I come up with this stuff? And Thrillbilly Ox is a rip-off gimmick from Festus the Thrillbilly. That's where Festus came from in the WWE. Festus.
Yeah.
Festus the Thrillbilly. Little guy did Festus the Thrillbilly gimmick. I met down in Tennessee years ago that used that gimmick. And I heard that song, Hillbilly Rock. Beat it like a drum. And I'm driving down the road from DC to here, and I'm beating myself because if I get into the song, I get into it. And I thought, and then I get a call from Doug Zuxer from Ruby. He says, Kace, I need a big team. You know, a gigantic team, possibly a hillbilly team. I said, I got something for you. I got these guys, Mass Destruction. They were playing heel gimmicks, all dressed up leather and all this in classes. I said, boys, you want to go up there with me and work? Because actually, I got sick. Zuxer said, paid. I paid them guys myself because they refused to take my friends. No, I booked you and told you you wanted to go with me. That's my business. But I got back at him because we went down with his credit card. He forgot to get from me, and I charged 3 of the nicest rooms that night, and we ate off of him and gave him his card back. I went back to work for him. Get into a story there where a rock broke out, and I had to hit a kid in the head because I tried to hit the baseball bat playing a sting game.
Oh my God.
Kid had only been in the business maybe 2 minutes. Tell me what he's going to do to me. But yeah, I created those boys, and we took it up there and did it up there. I told you about, and we'll get into the story, how I brought it back here, how Mark Mills brought it out in front of him, and Jim Hawkins didn't have any clue what was going on. We kept it, well, I told him, you got to see, because he kept saying, man, you talk this, you talk that. I said, I worked here for almost 6 months going to play.
Wow.
And I said, listen to my idea, because here's the deal. I may not be the best, but I like it. I think other people would. I don't know, so without duplicating. The idea is not doing the same thing. It's live, it's not Memorex, we're not recording it.
Yeah.
I love good shows. I like the Christmas Carol, but you want to see it every night?
No. You got to do something different.
That's just it. And variety. And again, I'll say this straight up. One thing I've learned over the years, I never thought an Afro-American guy would get over in this area.
A what?
An Afro-American person. Honest.
Yeah.
Great guy. Love him. I'm not talking racist or anything else.
Yeah.
But it got over.
It did.
We're mostly Italian area in this area.
Yeah, we are.
Okay? I brought Italian guys over. Didn't get over. But then again, Onyx was put into the right position. And if you've been there watching the show, how we positioned him.
Yeah.
And who was his main players? Who did he turn babyface on? And who was the person that got his do-rag and stuff?
There you go.
I could have said, and then they told me I didn't have to do anything. Didn't have to name. You want to do it, don't do it. They brought it up. I didn't have to. I didn't have to do it. And I wanted to see. And it works. And I love the man. Good guy. A lot of those guys, the great niggas, they think just because I got long hair and all, And I'm a redneck. A little bit into what a redneck actually is. It's not the way the person dresses. A redneck comes from mining wars in Mingo County, West Virginia. When the Pinkerton security was sent in pre-1900s to break up any unions. So they were killing, actually shooting the miners and killing them. All right? The government did nothing. Pinkerton security was the original, stranger. Pinkerton security is still around today, Pinkerton security. Well, they were killing them miners. The miners all got together. And to separate themselves from them guys, they wore a red bandana around their neck. Henceforth, don't shoot the man with the red neck.
Yeah.
It is not how you dress. Because if a redneck is blue jeans and flannel shirts, then Texas is full of rednecks.
Yeah.
Half the South is full of rednecks.
Yeah.
And cowboy boots. And tell the truth.
I like my flannel
This is how a
shirts.
word in this world is taken wrong, and people don't even have the ability to look it up in the dictionary and see the truth. People don't want to see the truth. They want to see what they believe.
They want to see the drama. The drama.
Take your rose-colored glasses off, because history's not the way you were taught in school. There's a lot of things about this world that you're not taught in school that are not addressed. These kids today don't know what the Bay of Pigs is about. You've already never heard of the Bay of Pigs.
What is it?
The Bay of Pigs.
No.
Early 60s, when we went against Cuba, when they were going to let the Russians come over and build a nuclear base within 90 miles of Florida.
Oh, wow.
And we went over and stopped them. That's how Fidel Castro took over. You probably don't even know anything about Vietnam, where I lost 3 cousins that went and had a baby crying in the weeds. Went over, baby in a basket, live baby, Korean baby laying in the basket. He went over to pick it up. It exploded.
Oh my
I had 3 cousins from about me and your sizes, and I remember being at the funeral, 7 years old, in Farmington, Ohio. And I didn't understand it. As soon as I was in the hospital as a kid, for 6 months in my first heart surgery, behind those old oxygen tents that were thick plastic.
Yeah.
Didn't have a mask. My parents couldn't be with me because they had kids at home. They'd come visit me on the weekends. And I seen kids die beside me in the bed. Just to take your last breath. So, brother, I've seen stuff that these people don't even want to see. And they, like I say, walk in my shoes one time and wonder why I got this attitude. Like, I used to try to be happy. And that didn't do me any good one. Until I started telling people, get out of my face. And then I found out I could make money doing it.
Yeah.
So what you see in the ring, technically is me.
It's just you turned up a couple dials.
Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
He got started. Watch the early stuff from him at Los Angeles.
He was
Wrestling from the Olympics is called. They got
Rook,
200-300 shows. When he was wrestling, Johnny Rods' channel, Rook. They played Johnny Rods off his sheep.
okay.
Steve Jones was a tag team champion out there with Tom Jones.
Okay.
Look it up. Wrestling from the Olympics.
Okay.
Michael Bell, Gene LaBelle, Judo Gene LaBelle. You know who Judo Gene LaBelle was? He was one of the first MMA guys.
Gene LaBelle's the guy that picked up.
He's the one that trained Bruce Lee.
Yeah. That's where I was
What Steven
going.
Seagal's hiring at 70 years old.
Yeah.
And he was the shooter for his mother. We get into all that history. If you knew the history, Roy Shire running San Francisco was a promoter. Run the cow palace every other week. Dawn 20,000. And Fresno, another county. Every area had territories. There were like 48, 50 of them. And that was just a known one. ICW. I carried Paffo's belt. The ICW belt that everybody's seeing now. I'm getting a copy of it made. That was when the Paffos run ICW. You had Randy, Lanny. This is before he was a macho man, but he was young. Look it up on YouTube. The belt that he has there, I carried it to him from the ring in this area. When Ronnie Garvin would fly his airplane into Clarksburg to the airport, it was Ronnie, Bob Root, Bob Orton Jr., Orton. And I'd pick him up. There, my dog started taking him to the army. Which, at that time, the airport was still operational. Now we flew those little,
So you've worked with
puddle
everybody.
jumpers in. Yeah.
You've worked with everybody.
Whoever come through the area in here, I made myself available.
Awesome.
And by doing that, I got to go other places, through Arkansas and other areas, and there. I didn't just want to stay here because, again, this was WWF area, WWF.
Yeah.
So the TV shows there, if I went up and did the JOB for them, just so I could make my $25 that night, because the winners didn't get paid, the losers got paid.
Yeah.
You had to push yourself, that's the way it was. Okay? We got showed back here. So I gotta come back here and work here and work somebody when they say, we just saw you got beat by Brewer Steel in 45 seconds. We saw you get beat by Bobby Duncan in a minute and a half. How can we believe you're a winner? and this and Arkansas, where they didn't know. And I learned then that there were different styles. Tennessee was a different style. There's a Tennessee opening, a Tennessee close, a Tennessee two-step. There's all kinds of names for all these different things.
And a lot of people don't know that.
Kayfabe,
A
brother.
lot of
they
people
don't speak
don't know.
kayfabe. And again, I tried to teach them, but after 3 or 4 years around here doing that and being ignored and ridiculed, to hell with it.
Well, why
I ain't
would you
making
waste
nothing.
your
Why should I
time?
spark you up?
Yeah.
Nobody sparked me up. There were some that did. That took me to the side. But it was life lessons in this business and not what to let you do and always protect yourself. You ain't got to be the biggest dog in the fight, but have some fight in you. Because any fights I ever had in this business or in life, I never had to fight the second time. Something must have happened because I never had to go back twice.
Yeah.
Win, lose, or draw. And I've lost mine, I've won some. You look at this face, you can see it. Broken up. Nose broken 9 times. I don't care. Because I will stand my ground when I have to. Because if I don't stand my ground, who's going to do it for me?
Nobody.
And I'm not going.
Right.
I'm not going to take and make myself look bad for a push, as the old WWF used to be. To get a push, you got to take a push. I don't do that bad. I don't need that for my name.
Okay.
And they had to tell you, you'll be nothing in this business. I can hit the Indies, brother. And I did for decades.
And you've
When
done
I
great
wanted,
at it.
as I wanted.
And you've done great
And
at
I
it.
did what I
You
didn't
made-
have. If I didn't want to do it, I said, no, you don't see it.
You've done a lot for the West Virginia Indies.
I wanted to keep it going because I promised Mark Mills when he died. I met him in 1972 at the Armory in watching Bruno wrestle Eric the Red. Eric Hansen, he was killed in a car accident helping an older woman change a tire in Florida. But he was Eric the Animal, Eric the Red, big star in the days. And they were wrestling out there, and that's why I first met him. His dad was a doctor who sewed my tongue. When I was a kid, well, Dr. Mills, who was Dr. Mark, who was adopted, was his father. Okay, I get there, and I didn't know this. My mom told me about this, how I spit all over Dr. Mills, because she met Mark and knew Mark too. And he did radio and TV at the time. And he said, yeah, you spit all over my dad. Spit blood all over my dad when he was a kid. Well, instead of dumbing me up back then in those days, because he just wrapped me up in a blanket. I was 4 or 5 years old. They wrapped me up in a sheet, and he just started sucking my tongue up. Because I used to stick my tongue out and see that down through there.
Yeah.
I bit through this lip 2 years ago. He talks to myself. I wouldn't take any other thing than you talk. That's why my teeth are like this. I bit my teeth down. I had so much pain in my chest for 2 years.
Oh my God.
My heart, I'll bring you a thing and let you hear it. It goes tick, 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 tick. That's that valve. Got 3 of them. It took me a year and a half to get used to that in my head every night.
That's scary thought.
And then
That's
people
a scary
wonder why.
feeling.
You know. And what can you do? I can't do anything about
You
it.
can do
Oh, they
that.
want to keep handing me dope. I'm not gonna be a zombie.
No.
If I gotta live on pills to live, I don't want to be here, brother. I ain't say it that way. I went from taking 9 pills after this surgery to just 2 prescriptions now that I have to take. One is blood thinners, because my blood has to be tested weekly. You have a certain limit your blood has to be.
Yeah.
And the numbers for me are 2.5 to 3.5. Well, I've been as high as 17.
Wow.
And when I got cut, the blood came out like jelly in my fingers. And that heart's going, if it gets too thin, that valve goes.
Oh my
And I can feel it
goodness.
in my chest.
That's
But
scary.
This won't have to be replaced. That's my fault because I have to learn. I'm only down to heart pill twice a day. No heart pill, no narcotics, except for marijuana. I get it for pain. Fine, I love it. I'll trade oxys any day. And I take the blood. I'll wipe all the others out, detox myself out, and by myself.
That's
I'll
awesome.
lock myself on a piece of my property in the woods.
That's
Have
awesome.
my sister take my car. Just leave me some food, some smoke I needed to smoke, my cigarettes, and leave me there. And you come back in 2 weeks, I'm here, I bit through my lip, and that's better. Because I wasn't going to do it. And the pain was unbearable. So I felt better if I could beat that out of somebody. But don't do that. I had to get to me, because the only one that was going to bring me out of it is me.
Yeah.
When you're down, you know the best. When you're down and people are kicking you, and I've always been good at getting up and jumping that next hurdle. And I was letting people get me down in this hurdle. Wrestling business would get me down. Then COVID hit. Then my mom passed after I had surgery. I'm just like, what next, Lord?
Yeah.
Then I sit down and I start thinking, and looking at how many family members I got left. Maybe I'll be grateful. Because when I first had the surgery, I didn't want to do it. They threatened to have me locked up under a mental health problem.
Oh, wow.
Because I told them, they said, you could go 5, 6 more years like you are. I said, leave me alone, let me alone. I said, I don't want to be cut again. I did not want to do it. Because they told me it was a 40% chance of making it. And I'm 59 years old at the time. I'm like, man, I don't want to go through this. I want to be here at least until my mom's gone.
Yeah.
And do that. They pressured me to do it. So I did. And all that little easy thing, 4 years later, I'm still suffering from it. I'll suffer from it the rest of my life as I'm here. But when I woke up after all that, because I didn't sign the do not resuscitate papers. That's why they left me sit there for over 18 minutes.
Wow.
Dead. They had to call my sister because I didn't sign the paper. I didn't want to bring me back, but seriously. And I'll tell you, I thought this was a dream that I had doing all this. It's an actual true story. They told me it happened. I woke up during the surgery going back and everything. We'll go into that later.
Wow. Let's pause here for a minute. I gotta use a little bathroom break. We're back. Last 2 questions and we'll wrap this up.
Got your other?
What is your greatest moment and what type of impact did it have on you in wrestling?
See, I've often thought about that myself, but each thing has its own little thing. You know, you can sit and remember little things. It's just like certain scars and what happened in the ring, or when I broke my foot over here in Houston one night, or broke my ribs in Charleston. You know, you get injuries and stuff. My best thing is being able to come out and still make it to a match, even injured or anything, and still do my job and be in business. That's it. I mean, I've done a lot with a lot of people. To pinpoint just one, Jimmy Snuka's splash off the top rope on me. It wasn't much about Volkoff's girl that pressed me over his head because he was pretty strong and he just pretty much let you go like the Warrior. Boom. You know?
He didn't protect you much.
Yeah, in the old days, we worked snug or we worked stiff, and I mean, when he hit me, and it's like today, these guys, if you're not gonna make it look real, don't even touch them. If you're
you gotta
chop,
make it believable.
I had a guy one time years ago chopped me in the chest, and I chopped him back, left my handprint on him, he cried like a baby. Come in the dressing room crying to me, looking the other. I said, look at me, what you did to me. I said, well, you can't take this. If you can't take this, get out.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a man's business.
Absolutely.
I want a mark on me to make it look like something happened to me, guys. Make it look believable.
That's what a lot of the business is lacking these days.
They see you on TV. Turn that TV off and watch some old stuff of how they built the matches and how they did this before all this pyro and all this other crap. How do you think Eddie Graham won 30 years and ran TV every week and kept, in 1983, there were 3,000 people making a full-time living in pro wrestling. Today, there's less than 500. How many's in ECW's 180 some? WWE's less than that now?
Yeah.
And then the independents? Yeah. Like Billy Gunn said, he talked about the independents. He said, who's all right? Because I don't care if you're an internet sensation. Brian Danielson's an internet sensation. Good wrestler, take that away from him, good. Excellent where he's at. And he deserves where he needs to be.
Yeah.
But because you're an internet person doesn't mean you're going to sell tickets. It comes down to selling tickets, brother.
Absolutely.
And the crowd responded. I don't want to hear a bunch of crickets sitting out there. If I hear nothing and a bunch of crickets, I'm walking. Or I'm going to do what I can do to get back. That's your job.
One last question, and we'll be wrapped up for the night. What is your advice for this new generation of wrestlers?
I just told them, shut the TV off, go on YouTube, watch some of the older stuff, watch the TV shows week by week by week, how they set stories up. You know, you had to keep them in. Generally, if you're going to run a story, but if I was to book a show or run a show, because a booker can only last about 6 months. Then you get stale and you bring in somebody else for new ideas. That's why they keep changing. Dusty Rhodes was a booker. Bob Roop was a booker. Ole Anderson a booker. Buck Robley, names that you don't even know, were so many bookers. Yeah. Well, when you got stale and couldn't sell tickets, you take me as a boss and you can't, I'm losing tickets over here. I got to move you out and find somebody else going to make me money there.
Well, yeah. Absolutely.
And then you made your money by points you earned for each city that you raised it up. But it was 5 points is 5%. You raise that up from a $10,000 house to a $20,000 house. You just made a grand.
Yeah.
Why would you want to make more money and the other guys make more money? That's the way it works. You got to make money. It takes money to make money.
Absolutely.
They were stingy, and they lied to the boys. They wanted to keep the boys. Kayfabe was made to keep the boys ignorant. That's what it's made for. Truth. You think the promoter's truth? You think Don King, the boxing promoter, is truthful?
No.
Do you think Dana White's truthful?
No. Hell no. He
I mean,
he would con his own mother into getting in a ring if he could make
Look how much money Mike Tyson lost to Don King.
A lot.
All the other boxers.
A lot.
And I wish Mike Tyson took his out. I'd pay to see him take Don King's out. He worked with Vince McMahon in '76.
Been up, crack down.
No, I did not know that. Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah. Check that. Buddy Wolf and Muhammad Ali, Chicago. Red Blouses with Muhammad Ali. Dick the Bruisers with Buddy Wolf. Vaughn Vaughn is reference. This is on YouTube. This is a build-up for the Muhammad Ali Inoki fight. Because they were just going to do it in Japan. And then they went closed circuit here. Well, Vince and them put money into it, too. I mean, they were going to lose. The ticket sales were horrible. That's why they did the Shea Stadium show and broadcast the show from there and from there.
Wow.
Bruno, the main event was Bruno against Larry Zbyszko. In their blow-off match was Zbyszko did the turn on Bruno in front of 34,000 people. Andre the Giant against Hulk Hogan that night.
I've seen video of that.
Pedro Morales and I remember who his tag team partner was. They won the tag belts that night, and then had to give it up. Pedro had 2 belts. We'll get into the chicken belt of Pedro's too that was pawned and disappeared.
Chicken belt.
Yeah, there was a belt made, a casting like this one similar here, but had a different eagle on the front that looked like almost a chicken. Same plating and all, because these designs were made by Nikita Malkovich, who was a wrestler of the Rugged Russians, which I used their gimmick. They were using the masked wrestler got red, and they were called the Rugged Russian. He made 3D casted belts. These are made by molding them together.
Yeah.
Put pieces together, basically with the ICW belts, and you see those are pieces from people that made plaques and stuff and awards.
Okay.
And then they were just glued onto the belt. Well, they got into the idea once you did that, you could make a same casting. And then pull that plate back out, melt your metal down, pour it, have a 3D casting. When I first got the casted belt of the international title out of Canada, nobody knew who it was but Reggie Parks, the belt maker. Because Nikita Malkovich was dead. When I took it apart to redo it, the leather was bad, and the eagle was a different one, and it was hanging in the front. It was silver. Well, the original was gold, so I knew it had been replaced. And the little slot back there was so you could take the eagle up and down. So I pulled it apart, and I found Malkovich on it. And I thought, that name sounds familiar. And I started studying to find out that he was the one that made these casting belts, Detroit's belts. This style for the tag belts, just like the WWE tag belts.
Wow.
Their tag belts had the little eagle in the front of it with the world on it.
Yeah.
And if you look at the Detroit belts, belts from Georgia, in that style, in these what they call 3D casting, and they had some have the same side plates, some have the star side plates like they do on a Texas belt.
Yeah.
That has a Texas on there with the eagle in the center.
Okay.
Those are all Malkovich belts.
I did not know that.
Those are casted. These are etched belts. These are made by Reggie Parks and Dave Milliken, who's your top belt maker now.
Yeah.
And I heard people cuss Dave Milliken. These are Dave Milliken belts here for years. How long? This has stood the test of time.
Absolutely, it has.
Okay, because of quality. This is done by taking a picture and putting it onto a piece of metal plate, and then using chemicals to etch it into it. That's how they get the deepness in this. And you notice the ones made today. Look at how the wrestlers were done here because they were casted as a wrestling thing. The ones you buy on the belts out of Pakistan and all them, the wrestlers look kind of funny on them. Because whoever drew the picture, there's no way you can do these. You have to do plate at a time to get any stars to make it look like stars.
Okay, I got you.
You keep having acid at that, acid at that. Because I've got a heat machine over there. I'm thinking about going belts myself.
See, you heard that here first. Kace is thinking about getting in the belt business.
Oh, it's
guys.
easy because right there, I could pull this thing apart, the eagle, all these parts come off. I could take those plates off with just a few screws and take it, make a sand casting of it, put it back together. Because what I would do, I would spray that down with a little bit of shellac so I wouldn't take any of the paint off and layer thin clear plastic over it. So when I put it in the sand, it didn't get in it. And what it would do, I would press it down flat and it would make that exactly.
That's genius.
You know how I learned to do that stuff? I was a dental technician years ago. So when they do the impression, they bring it to me, and then I would pour it with plaster, put it into a mold, And then the next guy, who was my brother, that lives across the street from me now, he would take it and put the wax on it and the teeth in it, and then hand it back to me. I would put it back together in 2 sections, pour the plaster in, take it, lock it tight, put it into a hot water tank, and bring it back up. Take them up, and make your dentures.
Wow.
That's how casting and belts are done.
So it's done the same way as
Same
teeth,
basic
pretty
thing.
much.
Same basic thing.
That's all.
You use acrylic for the teeth, there you use metal. That's why they can use brass, zinc. Zinc is your cheapest metal. That's why zinc belts I'm not into.
Okay.
This is steel. This is zinc. This is zinc. Now I have some that are steel, and your brass is good, but brass over time starts losing its luster.
Okay.
So that's the NWA belts. Most of them are done in brass.
So
You
what would you recommend a belt be done in?
Steel would be the best, but Pakistanis aren't going to do that. Or the people over there aren't going to do that. The belts they got for the price will work.
Oh,
If you're
yeah.
a belt collector,
Yeah.
I've got close to 30 belts, and I
Okay.
have a lot of what we call packing belts. I have them given in companies, and we call them by different names, and we all deal these belts. I have won 3 belts in raffles.
That's
They
awesome.
sell them $1 per number, and I buy 10 numbers. I've won 3 belts. I gave all 3 away to raffles for a little girl in Pennsylvania that's a friend of mine, Cliff Ayers, and his little girls had to have heart surgery. So I automatically took those belts and upgraded them from 4mm to 8mm thickness and better leather, and then wanted to put it up there so that money was donated to it.
That's sweet.
Because again, the belt I won wasn't exactly what I want.
Yeah.
I want what I want.
Yeah.
And there's only certain ones I want. The casting belts, the Georgia belts, the tag belts, the North American belts, you'll see in the collection that I have.
Okay.
Most of mine go back in history.
All right. Well, we're going to cut it off here for the night, guys. I am going to have Kace back in the doghouse again very, very soon.
I've always been
So
involved.
we're gonna have part 2 coming in possibly a month or so.
Don't say, brother. Don't
Yeah.
say, man, you made it.
So I'm T-Bone and I'm out.
And I'm Kace. I'm always out.
Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to see all the action of referee T-Bone Jones.